Every empire, every government swears that its money is trustworthy. Every government says that all the promises it makes will remain valid until the end. And history always reveals that they were wrong. From Rome to France, from the Confederacy to modern Lebanon, people woke up one ordinary morning and realized this: the money they had saved had become worthless, their salaries had lost their meaning, and their futures had been stolen by the systems they trusted. Collapse is not an accident. On the contrary, collapse is the rule. The real problem is not that financial systems collapse, it is what you do when they do. The illusion of permanence is the most dangerous financial mistake you can make. We look at the savings in our bank accounts, we look at the currency of the country we live in, and we assume these are solid structures. But money is not rock. Money is trust. And that trust can disappear in a single day. This is what makes history so valuable, and so ruthless. Because every collapse leaves behind very clear scars, traces that show what truly preserves wealth and what suddenly evaporates and disappears. If you look more carefully, you will notice this: those who survived these disasters were the ones who never fully trusted the system. They were the first to doubt it. Remember the Byzantine Empire. After the fall of Western Rome, it survived for nearly 1,000 years as what we call the Eastern Roman Empire. At the center of its economy was the gold solidus. It inspired so much confidence that merchants across Europe, the Middle East, and Asia accepted it without hesitation. For centuries, it functioned almost like the global reserve currency of the medieval world. You can't help but think they must have learned from Rome's earlier disaster with the silver denarius, when emperors kept debasing it until it was almost silver-plated tin. You may have heard this story before. But no. A few centuries later, the Byzantines made the same mistake with gold. They slightly reduced its purity, thinned it, and mixed in cheaper, more abundant metals. At first, no one noticed. Then, slowly, trust began to crack. The currency that held Mediterranean trade together turned into a political fairy tale. Debasement destroyed the reputation of the solidus. Along with it, the stability of the Byzantine economy collapsed. So what survived? Not paper promises. Not state decrees. Those who quietly accumulated real gold, or invested in land the empire could not seize, survived. While everyone else's money vanished, they preserved their wealth. This is the first timeless lesson: states cannot resist the temptation to dilute their money. And when they do, real value flows toward assets they cannot counterfeit. But not every collapse comes from rulers manipulating money. Sometimes shocks arrive with no warning at all, like the Black Death that struck Europe in the mid-14th century. Between 1347 and 1351, nearly half of Europe's population died. Cities emptied, villages disappeared, and trade became impossible. But the economic side of this story is more complex than you might think. When half the workforce vanished, labor suddenly became extremely valuable. Survivors demanded higher wages. Land and food became abundant relative to the population. Families with liquidity, those who had silver, goods, or simply the ability to work, gained bargaining power they could never have imagined. Land that was once priceless sold for almost nothing. Houses stood empty, fields went unsown, and those still alive were the buyers. If this sounds familiar, it's not a coincidence. During the COVID pandemic, we experienced a modern version of the same thing. Supply chains collapsed, governments printed trillions to protect the system. The result? Those with money accumulated assets. Those living paycheck to paycheck fell further behind. In the US, housing prices soared, stock markets rebounded rapidly, while millions of people worried about how they would pay rent. History was telling the same story again: pandemics redistribute wealth. Survivors of the Black Death rose. Those who had cash during COVID bought property, stocks, and businesses. Uncomfortable as it may be, the truth is this: crises make those with reserves richer. They crush those without. Pandemics show us the speed of shocks. But the banking collapse of Renaissance Florence teaches a different lesson. There is no such thing as too big to fail. In the 1340s, Florence was Europe's financial center. Giant banks like Bardi and Peruzzi lent enormous sums to kings, especially to King Edward III of England. When Edward stopped repaying his debts, the banks collapsed. Depositors were ruined. Trade froze. Florence slid into chaos. Ordinary people who believed those banks were too powerful to fail learned a brutal truth: size is not safety. Reputation is not protection. The lesson people learned was clear and sharp: the too big to fail lie is as old as finance itself. Institutions do not exist to protect you, they exist to make profit. When they fall, they take you down with them. This lesson repeated itself from Florence to Lehman Brothers in 2008, to Lebanese banks in 2019. Those who survived were the ones who knew institutional promises only last until the day they break. The American Civil War is usually told through battles and politics. But behind the scenes, a brutal financial war was unfolding. Both the North and the South printed money to fund the war. The North issued greenbacks. They had no gold backing, only the government's promise. At first, everything seemed fine. Then inflation arrived. As more money was printed, its value fell. In the South, the situation was catastrophic. The Confederacy printed graybacks endlessly. Inflation reached thousands of %. Soldiers' wages became worthless before they could spend them. People carried money in sacks just to buy basic goods. By 1865, Confederate money was effectively dead. Those who survived this collapse were not the ones holding paper, but those holding land, food, and gold. Ordinary citizens lost their savings. Those who could access tangible goods bought property for pennies. The rarely told lesson of US history is this: this country has experienced monetary collapse before. And survival came not from trusting paper, but from holding value that could not be inflated away. In France, the revolution destroyed money faster than war ever could. In the 1790s, paper money called assignats was issued. It was said to be backed by church lands. But the state kept printing more. Each new issuance erased the value of the previous one. Prices soared. Wages could not keep up. Farmers rejected paper and demanded silver or goods instead. Bread riots returned to Paris. The winners were not those who trusted paper, but those who held food, gold, and property. The lesson was unmistakable: promises are only worth something as long as others accept them. When trust breaks, money does not just weaken, it disappears. The 1997 Asian financial crisis tells the same story. Thailand borrowed in dollars. When its currency collapsed, the debt became impossible to repay. Currencies fell in a chain reaction. Unemployment exploded. Ordinary people suffered the most. Those holding dollars survived. Those holding local currencies were crushed. The lesson remained unchanged: borrowing in someone else's currency is a disaster waiting to happen. And this is not just history. In Lebanon in 2019, banks locked their doors. Deposits were frozen. The currency lost over 90% of its value. The middle class was wiped out. Those who survived were the ones who exited the banks early and held real assets. So what is the solution? History does not give a single answer. But it always whispers the same theme: blind trust kills. Real value preserves life. Gold, land, production, skills. Crises do not only destroy. For those who are prepared, they create opportunities. History always asks the same question: are you holding promises, or reality? If you liked the video, don't forget to share it and subscribe to the channel.